Guys, can we please stop doing this? After almost 4 years since Genshin Impact's release, we finally have a worthy competitor. And instead of focusing about what makes this game special or unique, or maybe enjoying both games, we have people using the term Genshin Impact killer, taking us on one hell of a throwback from like 20 years ago when any time a game in the MMO category came out after World of Warcraft, all news articles and the entire community that didn't want to play World of Warcraft would call it the World of Warcraft killer. But as you can see from this tier list over here, nothing worked, and the only things that can actually kill World of Warcraft are Blizzard themselves. This sucks to do because it puts very unrealistic expectations on those games that are coming out and hinders them, even though they could be good games by themselves. Here's the thing though, even though all these games were touted as World of Warcraft killers, the controversy surrounding the communities is nothing compared to what's been going on between Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. You have to understand the amount of outright misinformation and exaggeration and just false narratives that have been going on just this last week has been insane. Like, look at this image, for example. I'm sure you've seen this if you've been keeping up with this drama. This is an image of someone holding up their phone, launching Wuthering Waves while in MiHoYo's HQ in Shanghai, who are the creators of Genshin Impact. This image spread like wildfire under the narrative of, oh look, even Genshin Impact developers are playing this game, it's so good, they can't even hide it anymore. Dude, listen, what if I told you that I personally know who took this picture, why they took it, and how I can guarantee you, I can give you proof that they're not a MiHoYo employee. It's just insane. This thing spread everywhere. But unfortunately, it hasn't just been some dumb things. There are some aspects of this misinformation that spread around like crazy that can endanger careers of voice actors and Kuro Games, which are the developers of Wuthering Waves, as a whole. So I thought I'd make this video to kind of go over some of the most asinine takes from people on both sides because they're both complicit, and just laugh about it while giving you some very well needed context. So strap in because it's going to be crazy. But first, a 60-second ad. If you've been itching for a classic style MMORPG, then Terrasland's got you with over 9 classes and 18 specializations, all set in a very diverse and vast world for you to explore. Listen, you'll be challenged, alright, in a bunch of different dungeons and raids with a variety of enemies and bosses. This is why you need a good build, alright? There's 9 different classes, each having 2 different specializations, so choose carefully how you build your character and make it yours. You can choose to do this either on PC or mobile because the game is cross-platform with data sharing, which means you can play on the same account on both devices. And hey, listen, maybe if you play your cards right, you can go up against this bad boy, the Blight Dragon, who can probably munch you up in one bite. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna take him on PC or mobile? It's completely up to you. Just don't die. If you think you've got what it takes, then click the link in the pinned comment or the description to go to the website and pre-register. The game comes out June 21st. Thank you so much, Terrasland, for sponsoring this video. Wuthering Waves was highly anticipated by many people. This is the first legitimate competitor to Genshin Impact. Let's completely forget about Tower of Fantasy. That was an absolute disaster. I wouldn't even put it in the same category at this point. They've had somewhat of a rough launch, okay? There were performance issues both on PC and mobile, and while unfortunately it's become the norm in the gaming industry in general, they were very quick on their feet, released hotfixes almost every single day, and gave rewards that players could never imagine seeing in their competitors' games. Now, despite these performance issues, guys, they've achieved the #1 spot for downloads on the top charts in over 100 regions, okay? They're doing very well. But there is one issue that even the most hardcore Wuthering Waves fans can't deny. And that is the extremely disappointing and inconsistent English dub. In particular, the female protagonist. You can pick either male or female, right? I picked female. Don't take my word for it. Look at this scene, which is meant to be intense, with a very important battle going on. Just listen to this. Just listen to this.
Interesting. Do you really think you can trap me here?
You will not escape.
What the fuck was that?
Stay and play with you a bit longer. Till we meet again, dear friends.
You're not going anywhere.
It wasn't just in combat though. This is the same character talking to herself in an internal monologue during an investigation type quest. Okay, let's see the voice acting.
Part of the building is submerged. I should be able to find the hidden path underwater. It seems I have a puzzle to solve. Guess I will check on the mechanism in the middle first.
Hello, I am currently voice acting for Wuthering Waves. Now look, there have been many theories surrounding why the voice acting was subpar in English while being amazing, and I mean top tier in Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. Of course, people just couldn't accept like a boring reason, like, I don't know, there was a lack of direction or communication or something like that. No. It had to be a conspiracy theory. This is where this absolute clown, this absolute buffoon by the name of Saint Taint or Titties, whatever the hell his name is, came out with a video. Was Wuthering Waves sabotaged by Hoyoverse? Did Genshin Impact's developer sabotage it directly? Question mark? With 77,000 views, okay? What does Saint Taint have to say? All right, 1.25 speed. Cue the circus music. Let's go.
Wuthering Waves has taken over the United States.
Yep.
Kuro Games, the developer for Wuthering Waves, is confident in its success. Interest has grown rapidly over the past few weeks as Kuro ramps up their marketing and advertising efforts prior to
Normal.
Kuro has accomplished this in the gacha space despite losing many of its potential content creators to Hoyoverse's predatory preferred creator contract, which
Already off to a great start. All right, so all these content creators are known for their Genshin content, and they've all since then have been playing Wuthering Waves. Except Asian Guy Stream, but he has expressed that he's quitting content creation. So, not even 30 seconds in, and this guy is just spewing bullshit. This contract he's referencing is very simple. It leaked around a month ago and is from a company called Yumiholic. It's a marketing agency, and Hoyoverse will typically hire multiple of these agencies to seek out content creators who are usually smaller or up and coming and give them access to a game like Zenless Zone Zero that's very hard to get into during the closed beta, and in return, they'll ask for them to do a bunch of stuff. Now in that contract, this clause right here made a lot of people panic. It says, the content creator shall promptly notify Yumiholic if any other gaming brand intends to sponsor their content. Yumiholic has full discretion to reject sponsorships that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero or the content creator's reputation. So their role doesn't just become a marketing agency, they also present themselves as your agent. It's scummy, it's predatory, and usually the people who fall for this are smaller content creators who don't have an agent. Even I was reached out by a similar company back when I initially was blowing up with my interactive map videos. And since they kind of take the role of an agent, you can very easily see in multiple YouTubers' channels, in their description, they usually will say affiliated with this company, affiliated with that company. It means that this marketing agency has become their agent. And yeah, most likely they can't really talk about competitors without their permission. So yeah, this is important because it'll show up again in the video, right? So yeah. Now check this out. This is really where the theory crafting starts to take place. He's referencing the English voice actors for Wuthering Waves.
Looking at the roster, it's quite strange that we're seeing so few names that we're traditionally familiar with in the gacha
that you're
anime
familiar
space. Big names like Brianna Knickerbocker, Demon
Genshin
Mills,
Impact,
and
Honkai
Killer
Star
Band
Rail.
are surprisingly
Honkai
absent
Star Rail again.
despite previous involvement in many gacha titles. One of those titles, ironically enough, includes Punishing Gray Raven. Coincidence or not?
Punishing Gray Raven is the game that Kuro Games made before Wuthering Waves, right? So all these voice actors from Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, were in Punishing Gray Raven. Just keep this in mind as this guy keeps talking, all right?
All of these big ticket VAs are nowhere to be found. This becomes even more questionable knowing that Skylar Davenport, the voice actor for March 7th from Hoyoverse's turn-based strategy game Honkai Star Rail,
we know her.
Also the voice of Bianca from Punishing Gray Raven, was the original voice for Yang Yang in the earliest closed beta test.
I see.
In the current state of the game, her VA is Rebecca Yo. Skylar Davenport is a talented actress that has historically delivered in her previous role with Kuro Games. Why would Kuro Games replace a tenured VA for their largest budget game
I don't know.
with a VA that has only had one role prior over 2 years ago?
Yeah, let's just insult her.
How much dialogue had to be rewritten to accommodate for new VAs?
Oh my god.
It's clear that something is going on behind the scenes.
Is it?
Were the delays in the English dub for the Wuthering Waves CBT caused by even more anti-compete agreements by Hoyoverse behind the scenes with its VA contractors? This is a disturbing trend.
Very
Hoyoverse
disturbing,
is
guys.
actively developing within the gacha space and video games as a whole. The ability to deny resources and talent to your competitors through predatory employment agreements is...
This is Hoyoverse right here. You heard it here first. So of course these accusations are huge, not just because they put Hoyoverse as a very bad actor in the industry, but it's also implying that these voice actors who did work for Hoyoverse are just money hungry and will sign any contract that takes away their rights as long as they get the money, baby. This video has 77,000 views, right? And all the comments are them being like, wow, this sounds illegal. Holy moly. This makes me want to support Kuro more. This is really weird. And it only continues to worsen this war, this nuclear meltdown between the two communities. Thankfully, though, once this spread a bit too much, voice actors finally spoke up. Sayu, who is a VTuber and who voices both Jingwan from Honkai Star Rail and Sino from Genshin Impact, uploaded this video on his VOD channel saying, "Let's talk, stop lying on my name." Look, this is one of the first things he says in this video.
One more thing before we get into Wuthering Waves. Would you voice in Wuthering Waves given the chance? Yes, I would love to.
So, just the first 5 seconds is him saying, yes, I would love to voice for Wuthering Waves. And he goes on to say that this is completely false. There is no exclusivity clause in the contract that says you cannot voice just for Wuthering Waves. In fact, the voice acting industry is so competitive that you'd be an idiot to sign something like this, especially when you have an agent that will tell you, hey, do not sign this contract. It simply turns out that the studio Kuro Games chose to hire was in London. And contrary to what you might think, especially after the pandemic and remote work, you will almost always be asked to go to a studio to record. You'll never be asked to do it from home, although, maybe very rarely. All these well-known voice actors in the gacha and anime space are located in Los Angeles. It's not to say that there aren't any good ones in London, it's just that maybe some of the ones you're used to aren't. So of course, when it comes to someone like Sayu or Alejandro, which is, his real name that he goes by in the voice acting industry, asking him to fly from LA to London just to record for one game is asking a bit too much. Because many of these voice actors are in very high demand and a trip through the Atlantic is gonna be very taxing. And as to why the English voice acting in Wuthering Waves suffered greatly, it seems to be a lack of solid direction. Do I think the female Rover's voice actress is bad? Hell no! I wouldn't even begin to think that. Look, you're probably not a voice actor watching. If I asked you, hey, can you say the line, "I'll kill them all," in the context of a very important battle, you'll probably be like, "I'll kill them all." You'll give a good performance. If I just tell you, hey, can you just say the phrase, "I'll kill them all," without giving you any context as to why you're saying it, it's gonna sound like this.
You're not going anywhere.
So as far as I know, Kuro Games have taken in the feedback and they're working on it, right? They're gonna revisit the English dub and they're gonna stop forcing their British voice actors to force an American accent, which really didn't help, by the way. It made them very uncomfortable. And that's it, there wasn't a huge conspiracy theory. Now, of course, after Sayu and multiple other voice actors came out to say this, Saint Taint, even though he uploaded this 2 weeks ago, came out with an edited pinned comment 2 days ago, wrote 4 paragraphs. Guys, listen, I'm gonna save you time. You can read this if you want. Ignore all these 3. Let's just focus on the 4th one because this is the best part out of all this. This video dives into a hypothetical explanation for Wuthering Waves, let's be honest, troubles in the English voice work. It's clear that the lack of experience on some of the cast members has led to dips in quality on release. Like I mentioned in the video, it's very odd that Kuro would go with a whole new direction for one of their biggest budget games to less than satisfactory results. The keyword is hypothetical. It's an explanation for what could have happened, not a statement of fact. Me spreading misinformation would require me to know the terms, conditions, and restrictions of every voice actor's contracts and deliberately construct a false narrative, which is exactly what you did, by the way. If you think I had that knowledge 14 days ago when this video script was written, seek guidance. Let's just 1 second.
Should be a questionable practices. Their success in monopolizing some of the most important aspects of a game's longevity and appeal should be a massive cause for concern.
Hypothetical, by the way.
Gacha community.
This is just a theory.
It's abundantly clear that Hoyo has made active attempts to sabotage Wuthering Waves' closed beta test and first impressions, restricting voice actors at the most inopportune times. Likely the direct cause for the lack of English dub in the
Guys, this is a hypothetical statement. Chill.
It would be very convenient if a contract from a signed Hoyoverse VA was leaked in the coming weeks. I think we find some shocking similarities with the previous.
It would be very, very convenient if someone's contract leak causing them to lose a job and have a terrible reputation in the voice acting industry. It would be very cool if someone would do that, dude. Listen, he is a clown, okay? He is an absolute buffoon. He has, all in the same 6 minutes, insulted the current voice actors on Wuthering Waves, spread misinformation like crazy, and when he finally got caught in a corner, he just doubles down and just like, hey, it wasn't me. Like, I'm just saying, like, maybe. It really is unfortunate that something like this took so many people's attention away from the very simple issue that is just a lack of coordination in the English voice acting. And of course, it made the drama worse. You know, due to videos like whatever the hell his name is, Taint or whatever, content creators have been dealing with many people giving them shit for either playing or not playing Wuthering Waves. So you're in this dilemma. If you say anything positive about Wuthering Waves coming from Genshin, you're accused of being sponsored. And if you don't say anything positive, then you're also accused of being sponsored by Genshin Impact or Hoyoverse. His Hoyo contract requires him to shit on Wuthering Waves. So again, this only serves to fan the flames on this conflict between these two communities. But while this already is crazy, we're still at the tip of the iceberg here. This image is arguably one of the funniest things to come out from the drama between Genshin and Wuthering Waves. Not because of what it means, but because the whole thing is a hoax. It's not real, and I have proof! The #1 news source for everything Wuthering Waves related, guys. Wuthering Waves Media. I'm sure I can trust everything they say. Let's check what this page has in store for us. Let's scroll down, look at their pinned post. Seems like MiHoYo employees are really enjoying Wuthering Waves. With this image being attached, 800,000 people saw this with 36,000 likes. They pinned it because they're proud that it's their most viewed image. But this image, dude, okay, listen, let me just give you the full context here. This image actually originated from Wei's community. He does Genshin theory crafting vids. I highly recommend you subscribe to him. They're very high quality videos. In Wei's Discord, there's a viewer called Freaky Dawei that for whatever reason was at the MiHoYo Shanghai HQ. Not an employee, just visiting. To prove to Wei that it was actually him and he wasn't lying, he brought up his second phone and opened up Wei's channel and took an image in front of the reception of MiHoYo's HQ office. Pretty cool, right? But then he took it a step further and opened up Wuthering Waves on his second phone in front of that same reception. These are the two images Freaky Dawei posted. Now, I don't know how or why, like, how did it even spread so fast? I don't know. I mean, Wei was joking around saying, start Twitter war. But this image found itself on the biggest Wuthering Waves news source on Twitter, and it's their most liked and interacted with post of all time. This wasn't just limited to that page though. The biggest Genshin Impact meme page, which loves to steal content from other people and block them when they ask for credit, also posted this on their Twitter. This is the embed right here. Them saying Hoyoverse devs playing Wuthering Waves. It has since been deleted, right? It was up for a few hours, but guys, they have 1.2 million followers, so the damage has been done. You even have Wei here quote tweeting this post saying, "Pick on left is not a Hoyoverse employee." But of course, people ignored it. The second pick though is, as far as I know, real, and it's someone who does work at MiHoYo who was streaming the game on Bilibili. And they were having a great time. You know why? Because developers aren't teenagers going through puberty. Let me give you an example. If you worked on Uncharted 4 for 3 to 4 years, you've been working on this thing 8 to 10 hours a goddamn day. By the time it releases, you could play it and enjoy it, but it will not be the same experience as someone who just started playing it for the first time with no interaction. Dude, you could play the damn thing and look at the rocks and think, I know the person who made the pack of rocks that's placed all over the map. So then what do? You see a game like Tomb Raider come out that has similar mechanics, and you play it with fascination. You're like, oh, so this is how they did this. Oh, I think they got inspired from us here, but did it better. Oh, so I'm curious how they did this. And you just have a great time. This is how developers act. You can have friendly competition in sports. Why not have it here too? But yeah, this image is this image is fake. It's fairly harmless though, but I wish I could say the same thing about this bombshell. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Wuthering Waves had a bit of a rocky launch. But hey, to be fair, it is the biggest game that Kuro Games has ever launched. They apologized and they've been fixing it. It is what it is. But very recently, a post was made on r/gachagaming with the title, "The real reason Wuthering Waves' optimization issue seems to be fined." The main Unreal Engine specialist, Jiff, was laid off 2 months before release, and whatever they added between last closed beta and actual release destroyed the optimization. Starts off the post with, "Let's start with evidence." Oh yeah. So this, unlike the internal leaked image, is quite a daring accusation. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I fully believed this when I first saw this, all right? But after doing some more digging, I have massive question marks around this entire post. Let's start with the evidence. The post by GIF was made on Zhihu, a blog website from what I understand, in China. And people were easily able to make the connection with who he is in this video, where he presented their workflows on Wuthering Waves in Unreal Fest Shanghai back in 2023. So this is him right here. He starts off by saying, 2 months after leaving Mingchao, which is Wuthering Waves, I got rid of a heavy burden mentally, physically, and in my outlook on life. I am undoubtedly feeling relaxed and happy. So here's how this post sums it up, right? This person who posted claims to know Chinese. So let's see. The first sentence says, been 2 months since I left Wuthering Waves. I'm feeling happy and relaxed, dropping the heavy burden on my body, my mind, and my moral compass. Says, notice that whatever this is quite thick here because it's in bold. Then doesn't really explain what it means. After some stuff related to traveling and meeting other devs in the past 2 months, he said, after all, this industry in China is really a desert of idealism. It neither lacks capital that is solely oriented towards profit, nor lacks companies that have no basic contract spirit. Nor hypocrites and real scoundrels who talk about being great in front of others and scheming in the end, behind their backs. Then says something about when choosing a partner to work with, I guess. Character should be your first priority. Not only what he says, but also what he does. Not only what he does and says to you, but also what he does to his past partners. Not only what those close to him say about him, it also depends on what past estranged partners think of him. So here the poster argues that whatever the hell this is pretty much insinuating that he's talking about the controversy that Kuro Games had in 2023 when they fired 100 fresh graduates they hired right before their probation period ended, right before they became full-time employees. As far as I could tell, listen, I don't know Mandarin, but as far as I could tell from all the research, this actually did happen. This is someone asking, it's rumored that Kuro Games is laying off a large number of employees. What is the real situation? They laid off the entire project team, or I guess project management team. And one of the people that responded was, thanks for the invitation. I'm one of the people on the layoff list. I have a vested interest, but I won't be anonymous. They said, I signed a labor contract with Kuro on December 1st, 2022, and Kuro unilaterally terminated the labor contract on May 29, 2023, 2 days before the end of the probation period on May 31st, on the grounds that I failed the probation period. After the first negotiation on compensation on May 24 failed, Kuro only notified me of the failure of the probation period on the afternoon of May 29 without discussing compensation. So at the time when this happened, it was actually a fairly big controversy in the gaming space in China. So did this occur because they expanded too fast and ran out of capital, or did it happen because of a more shady reason? Who knows? But I know for a fact that it did happen. The post here is saying that GIF is hinting on what happened between him and Kuro's game management in relation to this, right? But to me, this feels like I'm in poetry class looking at a poet's work and thinking, oh yeah, he must have meant this. It's like, we don't know 100%. Then he references others' comments. The only time GIF replies to a comment is here. Another commenter said, good thing you are gone, otherwise you would be losing so much higher working overnight. In which GIF replied, optimization of the final closed beta 2 months ago was fine. I would be making stupid mistakes like this. And he's referencing the rocky release here. So this is that same comment translated with Google Translate. And it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's hard to translate Mandarin in general. So from what GIF had said so far, we can conclude that maybe, yes, there was some sort of discontent. I mean, the guy's saying, hey, I'm loving life right now after leaving 2 months ago. But everything else in this thread comes from hints or deductions, but nothing is 100% certain here. I mean, look, the entire speculation for the layoff is from a commenter saying layoffs before launch. Are they trying to reduce the number of people who will share year-end bonuses when the game becomes popular? I have seen this before. So his entire conclusion that it's a layoff comes from a comment on the thread. Now listen, I will say this though, okay? I wouldn't necessarily be surprised to know that he was laid off. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised that there is some dodgy stuff happening. Even though, yes, there are some very vague statements and deductions and speculations in this thread, there's a reason so many people upvoted this and believe this in the comments. It's a different language that many people don't understand, and people want an explanation as to why the launch was filled with bugs. But, and there's a very big but here, when I really took a step back and asked myself, wait a second, I can't believe this, is when I saw the person who posted it, Steamed Dumpling X. And oh man, this person, they're the embodiment of mental illness. Brace for impact, because we're heading to the fucking psych ward on this one. Look at this guy's YouTube channel. Yes, this is him, Steambun X. In his name, Hoyoshill. He gets very angry whenever you talk bad about Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail, and he has this very weird and almost borderline creepy obsession with Tectone. Like, look at his feed. Tectone, content creators who used to play Genshin who are now playing Wuthering Waves because it just released, true comedy, posting bugs with Wuthering Waves, saying that it's an underwhelming game, and of course more Tectone. I mean, look at this. Kuro equals Nichi Sanji. This dude is such a troll. But I think the funniest thing about this guy is that when Genshin was losing over 1 million followers on their Chinese social media due to the 3 Intertwined Fates drama, you can watch my video about it if you have no idea what I'm talking about. You had both people who dislike Genshin and people who have had only a history of positivity with Genshin all unite together to criticize Hoyoverse's stupid decision. With the exception of Steamed Bunex, of course. He made this video, The Strange Case of 3 Years, 3 Fates, and 3 Million Unfollows Genshin 4.4 Drama Investigation, in which he was literally the only content creator on the planet, okay, maybe not, but you know, one of the only people to deny the fact that they lost any followers. There's this really funny 30-second clip of Tectone reacting to his video, and I mean, it says everything you need to know about him.
The other possibility is that the videos, and especially all the articles that is published in multiple language, are lying to you.
I don't believe that. I'm gonna check the graphs myself. I don't believe this. So I have another image of the follow fall off. I don't know what little bro is talking about. Whatever he put is completely wrong, because that did not happen to Genshin's analytics. And it's most likely because you bought the follower version and you reported on a bugged out analytics page. So, yeah, no, that's completely wrong. And that took me 2 seconds.
Yep.
That took me 2 seconds to look into.
Look, this dude has tried to troll Genshin content creators, Honkai Star Rail creators, and now Wuthering Waves creators. He is known for that. Everyone just dismisses him automatically, especially after this video he made. And very recently, okay, this post was deleted, but I still have the tab open, thankfully. He posted again on gachagaming, which has a hate boner for Wuthering Waves, by the way. That's another story. This post saying, stop doom posting Wuthering Waves. The viewer for Wuthering Wave have never gone lower than 20k for the past 4 days. I'm not accusing Wuthering Waves of view botting. This is only a praise post for Wuthering Waves, showing that it retains more players at night than even League of Legends. So this post is meant to be ironic in the unfunniest way possible. He made the same post on Twitter, and these are the images he used. He was comparing World of Warcraft, which gets around like 50k viewers peak every day, compared to Wuthering Waves, saying Wuthering Waves seems to have a very strong viewer retention at night where most Twitch viewers are not watching, so he's pretty much hinting at the idea that, oh, they're probably botting, this doesn't make any sense. He also accuses Xiox of view botting because he gained almost 2,000 followers in the snap of a finger when he switched to Wuthering Waves. And that when he was streaming the Genshin livestream, he only gained 80 followers. Genshin could never, with an S at the end, hinting that it's satire. Does anyone else think the stats look kind of weird? Gonna be absolute cinema, he says, so confidently, living in his own world. I imagine I imagine this dude literally in like a home in the middle of nowhere by himself. He wakes up every day, talks to himself in the mirror, and thinks, man, dude, wait till everyone sees what I'm cooking. But no one cares. So of course, the loud bunch of some Hoyoverse games on Twitter would repost this post saying this is actually tragic, no wonder it was so choppy when it released, it's heartbreaking. Another Genshin player saying the fact that the story is finally spreading, like God, thank God, I was hoping this would happen. Many people, including maybe you watching right now, might have believed it like I did. And while yes, this post may be hinting at some foul play in terms of politics, in terms of bad coworkers, in terms of just employee dissatisfaction, it doesn't confirm that he was laid off. It doesn't confirm that it was done deliberately. The only thing I can very safely confirm to you today that I'm very confident about, that is 100% true, at the risk of ruining any relationship I might have with Kuro Games, is that yes, before release, their Wuthering Waves team was pretty much out of budget. It was doing pretty badly. And if you're a content creator who was in contact with them, you knew this. Many people on the marketing and content creator teams were being laid off. And they had like no funds for sponsors, period. For example, only a handful of streamers on Twitch got sponsored. Almost no one on YouTube got a sponsor. It's a miracle the game came out. So yeah, I would not be surprised if Jif got laid off. But to say that he got laid off specifically so so that he doesn't get game release bonuses after working on the game for years is a massive accusation, and unless there's actual direct evidence, I just choose to not believe it because it's that much of a difference. Also, I'm adding this to the video on the day it's meant to release. Hi, I know I sound sick because I am. I wanted to point out that the mods on r/gachagaming actually deleted Steamed Bunex's post about all this. Apparently, they're taking a hard stance on hostility and drama farming, which is actually pretty cool, so hey, kudos to them. Anyway, let's get back to the normal video. So all these things combined, especially with the fact that we have someone extremely mentally ill making this post, completely changes my opinion. Kuro Games had a very rough period before launch, alright? But they're slowly recovering, and hopefully they can not only rehire the people that they fired, but they can manage their funds better. But even with all these things debunked, even if all the players would stop causing drama, there's another big problem happening, which is encouraging the fires even though no one wants to put gas on them. Bots. The bots are unfortunately a real thing. Braxophone, who is a very well-known guide maker for Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves, just gacha in general, had these bots show up while he was streaming Wuthering Waves. He says 100 accounts followed him, and then he saw these first-time chatters very quickly in chat, saying, Genshin Impact's attention to detail is impeccable. Wuthering Waves is riddled with sloppy mistakes. Did you know Genshin Impact's puzzles are clever? Wuthering Waves puzzles are childish. Genshin Impact's boss fights are thrilling. Wuthering Waves bosses are pushovers. Hey, did you know how seamless Genshin Impact's cooperative play is? Wuthering Waves multiplayer is a disaster. And what's funny is that someone posted this tweet on TikTok claiming that it was Hoyoverse that botted him. It's so Hoyover. Another gacha content creator called Legion Z Gaming also had this show up in a Wuthering Waves video in his comments. Genshin Impact is better voice acting than Wuthering Waves. Genshin Impact offers better co-op gameplay. Wuthering Waves has limited exploration opportunities. Wuthering Waves user interface is less intuitive. Genshin Impact's story is engaging, whereas Wuthering Waves narrative is bland. Genshin Impact features more varied enemy types. Wuthering Waves lacks regular updates, unlike Genshin Impact's frequent content releases. Look, man, I don't know who the hell is doing this. I don't think Hoyoverse would stoop this low to hire bot farms to do this. I mean, what are they going to get from it? I honestly would not be surprised that it was one of these weird-ass Twitter stands making up these bots, defending their billion-dollar company, and resulting in flames being exaggerated to massive hellfire. There is so much misinfo and even bots, but you know what's funny? The craziest thing in all this drama somewhat ended up being true. Going back to the wonderful and completely objective gachagaming subreddit, this post made the rounds online, saying multiple tests from the Chinese community suggested opening Genshin on the background while playing Wuthering Waves may help fix Wuthering Waves performance issues. So initially, people thought that this was shitposting, but I've seen many comments of people saying that this actually kind of works. I thought it was ridiculous at first, but it's for very specific things. Some people had issues verifying integrity of game files after they launched the game, right? But then when they launched Genshin, for whatever reason, the loading bar started progressing, which made some people think, wow, dude, Kuro Games would really stoop this low, huh? Being like, of course they would make their game perform worse and only perform better once they launch a competitor at the same time. Of course, like, this makes total sense. Of course it doesn't, you buffoon! The actual technical explanation makes more sense. Some people have come up with that idea, which is Genshin is made on the Unity engine, a heavily modified version, so heavily modified that it doesn't classify as Unity legally at this point. Wuthering Waves is on Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 4 is more catered to mid and high-range PCs, while Unity is more catered to literal potatoes, so it's somewhat more optimized fundamentally. When you launch Genshin, what it'll do is it'll kind of turn off the unnecessary Windows processes going on in the background that Wuthering Waves doesn't have control over. And this will help you have better performance when you're checking your game file integrity. Yeah, it sounds insane, I know, but some people have genuinely reported that it does help, and now they can play the game. So hey, whatever works, I guess. Look, overall, this has been crazy. I don't think I've seen so much drama between two communities when a competitor launched in a very long time. But with that being said, I do need to point out something important. I've seen many comments of people saying, I don't care about the stupid drama, I'm enjoying all games, why can't we just enjoy all games? And that's the truth. I'm sure Wuthering Waves developers have played Genshin, and I'm sure Genshin developers have played Wuthering Waves, and I'm sure they both enjoyed their time. Why can't we do the same? So let's chill, take a step back, and be glad that we have so many high-quality gacha games coming out that aren't just casino slot machine simulators, but something with an actual story and good characters. You have Azure Premilia coming out soon, and you have Project Mujin. I really do hope that when they come out, something like this will not happen again. Maybe I'm just too positive at this point. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Love you.